get into it, shall we?
I know maybe I was not correct to say in the right moment when we won the Premier League, but I'm saying that I've been 8 years in Man City, so I'm not be 8 more years. So that's why I'm more closer to leave than stay. But I didn't say I'm leaving. So never ever I would say when I'm leaving, I would say I'm leaving, but I didn't say. So that was my approach. Maybe I was not correct to say, or that was my feeling right now. So we spoke with the club and said it's a lot of years, so we'll see what happens. But I not rule it out absolutely to extend the contract. So when I said to Samuel, so I would love to stay because I would love to stay. So that's why I don't want to happen. I want to deny my feelings. I want to see my players. It's 9 years today in the same club is an eternity. And
long time.
And I want to be sure it's the right decision, not just for me, for the club. It's the right decision for the players. It's still they run like they already ran 8 years. It doesn't matter the competition. It doesn't matter the tournament. And this is what I had to see.
Season 4, Shades of Blue, baby. We out here. I need y'all's energy up, my show bros. Every episode. No sleepy time voices over here. You need a moment to gather yourself. Should have done that before I hit record. But I did it on the slide anyway. So you just got to be staying ready. We out here. Oh my gosh, it's so great to see y'all though. Man, welcome to episode 104 of Shades of Blue.
World's famous.
We are the most comprehensive show about Manchester City, covering both the men's and women's game, spanning both sides of the Mason-Dixon line. We making art over here, capitalize the A. I am Crunk Chocolate. I am with the homies, Lando, Sharpie Charlie, Tarek. How y'all doing? How's it going? How you feeling?
What's good?
Hey.
How about it, boys? How about it? Good to see everybody. I'm coming back with a fresh little recent tan. Good to see y'all.
Hey, it's nice to see y'all, man. It's been a while since, we'll talk about what happened in North Carolina, but it's good to see the homies.
Hey, question for you, Crunk. So I'm looking at the notes doc, right? And it says season 3, episode 104. Do we officially get to crank it to season 4?
No, I just said season 4. I just didn't update it on the
doc.
On the docket.
Okay. See, I should have been paying attention, huh?
Yeah. No worries. Yes, but it's definitely we're season 4. I count the half a season that we started off with.
It's season 1
because we just went into a new season. So it's just like, hey, it's a season. It's like sometimes when there'll be like a 4-episode season because it's like a pilot. Like we didn't know what we were gonna do.
Wait, Crunk, whoa, we gotta stop. This is season 3 though.
Is it? 1?
This is our third because we did the end of 22. That's when we started, right? Spring of 22.
Okay, I'm always saying.
And we did 22 to 23. And now
23 to 20.
Oh shit! I see it. You're right. I see it. My bad. Okay. Damn, you're right. You got it. It was a small first season. You're right. Damn. That was a tiny first season.
Yeah, 3 years, but
4 years, 4 seasons. Okay, my man. He's out here. Follow the captain. Don't go against the captain. Don't do that, Chuck. You know better. I'm sorry. I'm going to the bench.
We're a team. We gotta hash this stuff out in real time. That's nice. Look at us.
You hear him drop a new nickname too? He called himself a nickname. Did y'all catch that?
Me?
Oh no, Charlie. Y'all didn't hear it.
What is it?
He said, "Don't go against the captain, Chuck."
I'm talking about that's Crunk. I'm talking about that's a self check. Don't go against Captain Crunk.
Charlie, Chuck.
I thought you said Chuck, and like Charles Barkley goes by Chuck, so I thought maybe he was going by Chuck. I was like, I didn't catch that.
There's a subset of friends that do it, but it's like. It's not bad. It didn't happen until I guess like the older I got, the more I was like whatever because I hated it up until like 24, and then after that I was like fuck it, y'all can say
so. If the option happens, it has to be use our Chuck sparingly.
Chuck is fine, whatever. I'll respond to it just as long as you don't call me my wrong name, like because I'm not Charles at all. So like that's literally nowhere on the birth certificate. It does not
truly
exist.
Charlie.
Yes. So like. The Charles part is like that's when I will get mad at mostly white people who try. Charles, what did it say on the paper? What did it say on the screen? Why would you make something up? I don't know. Anywho, back to City. Let's go.
We back, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Before we get into anything else, what I need you to do right now, if you're on YouTube, hit that thumbs up, show some love. If you're just popping onto here, subscribe. for more because we were just constantly dropping content. I still have some stuff from the end of last season that I still need to freaking upload. I think I'm just going to drop an episode every single day until I'm out of them because there's still too much.
The Lost Eppies?
Yes, Lost Eppies. Sorry, guys. It's
every good group has the Lost
Eppies. Keeping up with that, and then there's just days where I just need to take a break. So it's just like, and then I forget to upload the episodes, and then life be life. And
Rodri don't get a break. Why do you get a break? You the man in the middle. You don't get no break. If we can't get Rodri a break, then you don't get no breaks either.
I gave myself a red card. I choked somebody. My bad. So I sent myself off.
Untucked the shirt and everything. Let's go.
Untucked crunk.
Oh man, rate review. Yeah, see, this is great. You need to subscribe. You need this. Tons of shows already going this week. Starting season 4 off with a bang. Wednesday night, Shades of Blue Network. We got back-to-back live streams. We're doing a Community Shield review. We're having on a trio of Reds. Shout out to Shirtless Plantain Show. Tosin McKinday, he's going to join us. Then Sunshine, the homie, she was just at the Liverpool United match where they got smacked. But last but not least, the homie Grego from For the Culture United podcast and my Your Favorite Wrestling podcast show, bro. So we'll be talking about what has happened over the summer for both squads and previewing the first chance of silverware for both clubs and any club. Honestly, they should have did better, or else they would have been there, but they ain't. So,
preach.
Yeah, once that live stream ends, Grego and I we're gonna move over to FanFest Live, record episode 10 of Your Favorite Wrestling Podcast. SummerSlam to review. There's a Raw going on, and then Saturday, first kickoff show, an hour before 8 a.m. Central. We will be hopping on, discussing starting 11, player matchups, predictions, all of those things. And then Sunday, I'm so excited about this. Okay, so this is it's a baby that I've been thinking about. It's been like a brain baby I've been just working on for years. And City doing that collaboration with WWE, I just had to do it finally. So I'm bringing on Martin from Mancunian Way, Dylan Meehan, Shady Gang's own Jennifer, and G Certified. They will be joining me for a Manchester City themed King of the Ring fantasy concept. I have set up a WWE style wrestling tournament using Manchester City players. Who is on is based off of the minutes played last year. I've given them matchup storylines, who's a face or a heel. I've even given them finishers. So the amazing panel and I, we will fantasy book the matches, coming to an agreement on winners of the first round. So there will be future shows doing the rounds, and I will change up the guests. I think it's gonna be fun. Like I was saying, one of the matchups, it's Foden versus Julian Alvarez. So we're gonna fantasy book who would do that, who's the face, who's the heel, how would that end up going. You might be able to guess, especially because of recent information, but it is what it is. So yeah, plenty of going down here at Shades of Blue Network. It's time for the show. All right. So, we're going to do a little more catching up because that was just a little banter tings earlier. What have we been up to this summer? Next, preseason. We talking friendlies? We were at 75% of the tour cumulatively. Woo, that was tough. We had to relive some of the moments and talk what we saw in the games. And then end the episode giving final thoughts on the U.S. tour altogether. So let's get into it.
Kick us off, Crunk. Kick us off.
Nah, I've just been doing so much talking. Sharpie, let's start with you.
The summer? Yeah, summer's been lit, man. It's been this is week 6, 7 of break since I've seen children, since I've been called my surname, which is nice. But no, it's been really good. Seeing a lot of friends and family, being over here driving. I drove down to Virginia, then to North Carolina, then to Georgia. Spent a whole week there. Before that, I went to Florida at the end of June. Flew there, didn't drive. So just 2 different vacations with a little bit of me time inside, and
nice.
Been working out like crazy. I'm trying to get to 100 Orange Theory classes. We're at 87 now, so we got 13 more to go. My goal is like come back and see my kids on the first day of school and be like, "Hey, what you do this summer?" "Well, I worked out." "Oh, what did you do? You sat on your butt and scrolled on your phone?" "No, we do both." Okay.
Establish dominance early.
Yeah, and I play college football, and I will beat you. Add me. So it's just getting ready to see these children in a couple weeks. Because I actually miss this is the point of the year where I miss teaching. Like it's been enough weeks off and it's good. Like everybody's at work and I'm just like, oh, I'm chilling. But I'm excited for the next year. It'll be year 13, so looking forward to it.
Yeah. Perry, how's your summer been?
You know what qualifies as summer? When does it start? I don't know. I got a new job.
Hey.
And yeah, man, just trying to, navigate through that. And then just catching as much footy in person as I can. And then just trying to just live it, man. There's just so much going on. It's been crazy, but it's been good, Like I can't complain at all. So I'm excited.
Two more things. Left out two big parts of the summer, man. We got Kamala Harris running for president.
What?
First Black woman, first South Asian woman about to fuck Donald Trump up. Number 47 is on the way. And the Olympics have been great. This is when I'm the most patriotic. Olympics and presidential election, they come together. These fucking colors don't run. Fuck the Republicans. Fuck the GOP. Fuck all you Trump supporters. Unfollow us if you are. Fuck you.
It bees like that. Lando?
It's been a fun summer, boys. Yeah, I'm kind of with T in the sense of what constitutes the summer as all of us being adults. Minus Charlie with the school year and the calendar. I get that. And we'll live through him in the whole summer concept. But it's been a fun last few months to be able to have that preseason vibes, have some fun with the speculation, the transfers. Now, I'm going to piggyback off of Charlie here for a minute. I have a confession. I have never felt more patriotic in my life than watching the Gold Zone on Peacock. If I were to go into the Olympics, going into knowing that I would be able to have just on my screen the opportunity to see every American going for a gold at its current time, and knowing that as the Olympics progress, the more and more amped up and tense and important these competitions are. I truly hear bald-headed eagle screech. I hear fireworks. I smell a good Cracker Barrel lobby, knowing I'm about to get Big Mama's flapjacks.
Oh my God.
With a glass of orange juice and a side of coffee. Black. Nothing in it, please. Like I like my president. Shout out to Charlie. It's just America. And so I want to say to anyone out there keeping up with the Olympics, get a chance to get on the Gold Zone, because I'm telling you right now, it just makes you filled with American pride. I love it. That's been pretty much the fun parts of my summer. And I got 2 kids. So, there's that. Kronk, what about you?
Yeah, just prepping this WSL pod, the MLS pod, the Arsenal 86 podcast. Just figuring out what comes of this new season. All kinds of new shows. FanFest, the family, they're working on an evolution currently, a new upgrade to their system. So with that, it's going to come some real fun show offerings and working on the Patreon. Yeah, that's all I've really been working on this summer. Is just, what does this place look like by next summer? And so I'm just doing the steps to get what I envision us at next summer and what that is day to day. And so, yeah, it's just been fun.
I'd like to take this opportunity to note that out of the 4 of us here, 2 of us, and I know Charlie's probably in transition with other types of backgrounds we'll have, but 2 of us have some upgrades. Kronk has an Angel City add-on, And T, we have to hear about everything behind you right now. I need a 1-by-1 breakdown and a shout out to what you have behind you and to what's your left too, because I still have goosebumps about knowing that you're a certain fan of a particular club that I too am a fan of. Go on, my guy.
So starting with what you ended off here is the pinstripes. If you are an American baseball fan, you know that that's the New York Yankees, the classic blue and the white, the pinstripes. So my mom was born in Evansville, Indiana, which is where my uncles and I still have family down there. Which Evansville, Indiana, is the home of one Sir Don Mattingly. So growing up as a kid, I heard stories of my uncles having snowball fights with Don Mattingly as a kid and outside and doing all this stuff, right? So that gave me that connection to the Yankees. So I kind of been, chilling with them. But I mean, I'm probably not a super fan like you, Lando, but I still rock with them because I've just done it for so long.
You rep.
Yeah,
That's enough for me, T.
But then you talked about, so the jerseys are old. I forget what year this one is. 17, 18 maybe. And then this one is, I think, the first year. Oh, maybe they're the same year. They're the same year, I think. But I think they're both the 7. This is the Nike. I think they're both Nike jerseys. So that was like right before we switched, maybe a year or two before we switched. So those I've had those for a while. Just needed something different in the background. This is the very first scarf that I ever bought. And that's the only one I had until we all went to Chicago, which is here. Shout out to the folks at Chicago MCFC. Picked that up while we were in Chicago as a group. And then this one here is from the north. It's a half and half scarf actually, but it's Manchester City on this side. It's UNC on the other side.
Okay.
So it's got the little North Carolina, and it's the same color scheme that Carolina blue or the sky blue with the navy. So it was a perfect. Normally I wouldn't do a half and half scarf if it was City versus an opponent. But this was just the location of where we were playing. It's, again, a place where I grew up as a kid. And I remember I had very vivid, fond memories of watching Rasheed Wallace and Jerry Stackhouse and Anton Jameson and all those dudes doing work when I was living out there. So I got mad love. I still, you know what? I obviously I root for the Canes because that's where I went, but outside of them, I probably root for North Carolina the most. So, because again, I have some fond memories there. So that's what that scarf is. And then the last one and the most recent pickup this weekend, kind of blocking it, but this is a Birmingham City or Magic City MCFC scarf. So I was given that this weekend while I was in Ohio. So we'll talk about that. But
shout out to that.
Yeah, big shout out to them. Appreciate that. So listeners, so they support us. So it was great. I was glad to pick it up. And so here's an opportunity for me to show it off. So yeah, that's kind of the background. Like I said, I just kind of moved around a little bit, changed some stuff up, and tried to do this. It may not look like this every week. We'll see. Maybe I'll switch the jerseys out. Maybe I'll move my computer back the other way. I don't know. We'll see. But today, this is what we got.
Hey. Love this. All right, let's get started. North Carolina was able to kick it with the Show Bros for a bit, and that was just very nice, especially it was a couple months after being able to spend some time in April. It felt natural. Especially when we were doing the kicking it before, getting ahead of myself when we're kicking it at that restaurant and just chatted up and everything. It was just hanging out with the homies and just shooting the shit. But when we got into Lando, well, actually, first off, because it was the first time I was in North Carolina. I've never been in the area before. So I just love the nature, so much green, different colors of green, trees, flowers, plants. It was fantastic, and it was like, because people, is it the South? I think it is. Like, I know people
That
argue.
can't be a question, is it?
Right, because I don't know what else it would be, but people do argue about it. But it's because everybody there is so like they're Southern nice, but also it is very nice. You know, there's part of the South that kind of feels a little like Southern, and then I mean, and obviously you can get that in moments in North Carolina, but where I was, it was real dainty. It was really like it was yeah. So that was my first like feeling of North Carolina. But yeah, Sharpie, like that was like home. What was it like getting back there?
Yeah, I hadn't been to campus. I went to campus spring of 23 for UNC Duke. That was my second UNC Duke game. Very grateful for that opportunity that a friend got me a ticket for. But yeah, like once you drive in and like, so those that don't know, the area that we were in is called the Research Triangle, right? You have Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill.
And then right there.
Durham is the home of Duke. Chapel Hill is UNC. Raleigh is NC State. They're all within a 20, 30-minute drive. And so then you got Cary, North Carolina, where practice was, which is right there, like a suburb, like a offset of Raleigh. So like all of it's in the area. But like when you go on campus, you start to see the street signs change colors. They become Carolina blue and white. And like just seeing that first sign of like, you know, go to this building and it's all blue and white. That would just, it gave me goosebumps in the car. Like I took a picture of it, coming down Franklin Street, you know, just riding past the bars and the alumni shops. And I'm not an alum at all, of course, you know, just a fan, a lifelong fan, but just to see all the stuff, all the merch. And then of course to see city people there.
Yeah,
I know we first met up, me, Lando and Crump met up at the pop-up shop right on Franklin. Which was really dope. The layout of the locker room and all the gear. Spent more money than I intended, but that's okay because that's what you do.
We love you, City.
Got to. Like I got the shirt on right now, like specific for the match. I wanted to get something that was for that moment. And then got a quarter zip that I'll pop out in the fall. But like it's just a beautiful city. Like Chapel Hill is gorgeous. Like that's a place you would want to move to. And like Crump was saying, right? Chapel Hill itself in the Research Triangle is a very liberal part of the state. It's like every state has that liberal city, right? You go to Atlanta, you got Atlanta and Georgia. You go to like most of your capital cities, that's where it's pretty liberal. But I love being down there and like seeing y'all was just, you know, was quite the vibe.
Lando.
Yeah, I mean it was awesome driving in. Had a chance to not have to jump on a flight, so came in with my father-in-law. Which there were some moments I'll have to bring up. I'll save it for the game, but he called it, and I was thoroughly impressed. An experience that him and I will always have together. So
top guy.
Thank you.
Amazing hanging out with him. Yeah.
He's always down to chill. He's down to partake. He hung around. He hangs out. He's a good guy. So happy to be, you know, and his family kind of thing. So the drive up was nice. God's country. That's what they always say about North Carolina. How God's country. That's what I kept thinking about as I was coming in. And yeah, man, it's really beautiful. I have to acknowledge that and admit, as you get closer to the quad, there are moments where you just want to keep driving into the campus because of how beautiful it is. You just want to keep seeing more. So I think we came at a beautiful time. Ironically, we did have some overcast and rain, which seemed to be a trend.
Right.
Every preseason.
Sir.
Yeah. But yeah, it was really good to connect with you guys. Met up with some of the Greenville citizens and other groups. Just actually seeing them walking down the street before the pop-up shop opened. So that was kind of cool. But yeah, overall, it was really fun. Great experience.
Yeah, man. North Carolina is always a great time for me, so it was good to get down there. I got a chance to obviously hang out with my show bros. I brought my actual blood brothers, the ones that grew up in the same house as me. Brought them with me, so I got to hang out with them. Because
big dudes, bro. Some big dudes.
They may be. I'm always gonna be the oldest. I don't care how
Hey,
big
and
they are. I'm
hey,
always the oldest.
hey, and
Which means
I'm
I'm
gonna say,
always in charge.
oh,
I
and you
Little big
are,
remind
brothers.
you
The
are.
little big brothers.
No,
I'm
I
always
watched how they
remind them
acted
jokers.
around you. I watched how
Y'all may be bigger,
they
but I'm always the oldest.
They were just like,
That's
need
never
anything?
gonna
Need
change, homie.
anything? They were checking
But
in on
no,
you all the time.
but it was good because we kind of live all over. The closest one lives in Chicago, which is about 3 hours away. Not bad at all. But the other one lives out closer to Charlie. It lives out outside of DC area. So, we don't get to all be together as much as we would probably like. So being able to share that with them was cool. I one of them, this was the one that lives in Chicago, I take him with me pretty much all the time because he's in the Midwest. I'm going to games in the Midwest. It's just easy. So he's been to all of the same preseason tour matches that I've been to. So I think this is number 4, I think.
That's dope.
The one that's in DC, this was his first time. So, his first time getting a chance to go to a soccer match, pretty much, period. Getting a chance to see Man City, which he knows I'm a big fan. Everybody in the family does. So this was his first chance getting to go. I will say, I've only ever seen us lose one time. He just so happened to be there. I'm not saying he's the fault. I'm not saying he's the bad luck charm. All I'm saying is I've never seen him lose until he was with me. So that's all I'm saying.
I mean,
Wow, bro.
But I lived in Fayetteville, so I got a chance, or Fort Bragg at the time. Now, Fort Liberty is what it's called now, but outside of Fayetteville. So we used to live there as kids, and so I got a chance to go back there and hang out with family. And I'm only doing this one time because they're my family. But for people, who may not understand how we do as a culture, you don't have to be born in the same family, just in the same household. You don't have to have the same blood to be family. That's my family down there. I got a chance to go hang out with them, and one of my best friends, and then I'll leave that there. So it was a great time. North Carolina doesn't owe me anything. I had a great time. It was a blast, and so it was great. I tried to do, more with the content thing. So I called myself trying to do more vlog style with the videos and the stuff that I was posting online. So I do have a little recap that I'll post, I guess, eventually at some point.
I can't wait to see that. Let's go. I want to talk about that welcome event that we went to at He's Not There. Shout out to Man City. They hosted this. It was you could invite, it was like a not select amount, it was register until it was gone type of vibes. So luckily we were able to lock it down and get there, and there was a bunch of other Man City fans that they brought a band. Obviously got to see Jolien Lescott and SWP. FG, he hosted it. I got them signed. They signed a cup of mine, so that was real nice.
Same.
The beer was great. Shout out to them. I was expecting shitty college bar beer, and it wasn't. It was great beer, and it was like a 32-ounce cup, you guys would think, and they were just filling it up for $9. I had way too many of those while I was there in North Carolina. So shout out to them. That event, the band that they had there was really good. I was drinking so much I don't necessarily remember so many people's names. Like the two homies that came and said hey from Manchester City that sat down and chatted with us for a little bit. I know one of them is the camera guy,
I forget
and the
their
other
names.
one is the production
on the
team.
social media team. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean I've dealt with them before, and so that's what's frustrating. It's so that was really nice that they were able to chat and say hello, and that they see us and recognize what we're doing, and that was a really cool, honestly, theme of North Carolina and New York was just a lot of the love I was able to receive, because in my little area, without any sort of community, it was nice to actually feel the community. So yeah, no. Shout out to Moonbeam and Moonchester. Definitely had a nice little conversation with them at that event. Shout out to them just in general, being in the South in those uniforms. Like, oh my gosh, I'm shocked, y'all. Shout out to them just in general. That was crazy. But the match against Celtic, you know how it went 3-4. The team actually, hold on. I'm getting ahead of myself because we went to the practice and then we got rained on. And that was actually fun, hanging out on the line, chatting with people. Lando and I, we too made some content throughout that, chatted with some people, was able to connect with Citizens Fancast while we were there a lot. Him and his wife and their child that they're going to be having very soon. Like, super excited for them. I met Gundalorian. I forgot all about that at the practice. I met the legend Gundalorian, him, his wife, his son. Like, beautiful black family, by the way. Like, just gorgeous skin, especially in person. I was just like, ooh, melanin. I love it, baby. But yeah, just met so many cool people. The practice was great because Celtic also did their own thing for a little bit. And when Man City came on, you could tell they did similar drills, but Pep had instilled like 2 or 3 more steps in it. It wasn't just like make one pass, then pass it back and you shoot. It was like you pass someone, you go left, then then the person swings it around, and while there, you're running all the way up, and you have to anticipate another pass that gets laid off to you for you to take a one shot. It was ridiculous, and it was just fun to see. Calvin Phillips, he looked fantastic. I tweeted it. I was like, we got Calvin Phillips back, obviously. You know, he was up and down.
Got him.
He just, because I was there in Texas, I was at the closed practice, and I said over and over again, he looked overwhelmed. He couldn't handle the drills. He didn't know where to pass. He couldn't really do much on the ball in the small spaces. There, he looked great. He looked calm. He was flinging the ball around, adding English and spin, one touch, this, that. He was laughing and giggling with everybody. And so I thought he looked great. Lando, what was your experience with the practice? What did you see with the team and the players?
So I want to get a little okay. I'll do the joking out there. We stood in line, and any sort of Celtic supporter that came across, we asked them, or if they had an opportunity to maybe ask us what our favorite Celtic was. And Crunk and I had a fun time listing out a bunch of NBA players like
Larry
Jason
Bird.
Tatum, Larry Bird, and all that shit.
So
that was a
moment to get it. They'd be like,
yeah. Great time roasting them in that regard, and a lot of them had some great spirit to it. Celtic supporters, bro.
Yes.
My father-in-law Jim is all in, by the way, even contemplating on getting a kit and trying to support them.
Yeah,
you know, and the Scottish Prem. He was all about it. Like, he really liked their atmosphere because side note, he wanted to bring it up and never did. This isn't his first rodeo. This is actually his 3rd or 4th soccer game, and the other ones are MLS games, but he doesn't really like to bring it up. He's like old school MLS kind of thing. But it was great to kind of have some fun with it. Saw some rando kits, had some good laughs to some of those guys. My fellow Cotrachos were out there.
Yeah, they were.
Cotrachos, Hondurans. We have a Honduran who played well and is going to be a little bit of a stud dog. Luis Palma. Shout out to him. It didn't even occur to me. I was just so city oriented and going into the game that I'm looking around, I'm seeing flags, and I'm like, I even told Crunk, I was like, bro, that's a Honduran flag. I don't know who those people are. I gotta go. Like, immediately booked it over there. Cotracho, bro, what's up? I took pictures with random Cotrachos because for me, it's just like, it's incredible. Like, I never see like my own, of course, black and brown. I see you all the same. We're beautiful people, but my actual countrymen, it's just like, nah, come here, bro. Like, you are a rarity. Now to the ball. This is one common trait in every great manager or coach I've ever seen practice. I don't want to name drop names because the list can go on and on. But I have seen some great coaches firsthand run a practice. The notion of Josep Guardiola allowing his assistant managers and some of those lower tier coaches to run parts of those practices. I absolutely loved to see it. To know that those young men and women, by the way, he has women on that staff that were working with some of those players, to see them get those opportunities, it just warmed my heart to see that. And to Crunk's point, it was great to see the difference in style where, yeah, similar drills back and forth between us and Celtic, a little bit more structured and organized with what we did, but the intensity in certain drills when it picked up a notch, you can tell switches were flipped in all of them. Something I was really, really, really looking at. I mean, it was incredible to see how some of our youngsters knew, as we were doing some of those passing drills, but then we were whipping it to one another on purpose. It was great to see how the focus was there with some of those young guys. Those two things for the practice really stuck out to me, to be completely honest, and I loved it. I didn't think I was actually going to kind of get that aspect going into it.
That was the first time O'Reilly stuck out. I took a photo of him and Simpson Poussey, which I still got to figure out how we say his last name. Is that how we say it? SP. But yeah, those two, they showed out during those practices, and I was just like, okay, I'm locked in. Those could be potential good ones. And the match, Mbete, Simpson, Poussey, Rico Lewis, Wilson Espran, they were the back line. O'Reilly, Phillips, Grealish, McAtee, Bob, Holland, and then Ortega got the start. Ederson came in the half. Ortega actually, I mean, everybody honestly looked bad. What I will say is this was, maybe it's just because it's in the USA that's all the matches are being, you can watch them, but maybe it's just because I was at the two games. The first game to the game the other day, yesterday or whatever, seeing the growth, like you could definitely tell you're way more in shape. The passing is way more, it's easier. Like you could see the growth that the players had made in the 2 weeks. And I thought that was really cool because I was killing some players. I mean, I still think McAtee has a long way to go, even after these 4 matches. But in that first match, I was terrified for McAtee. I was like, it wouldn't surprise me if bro gets shipped away overnight type of vibes. But obviously it's the first match. Luke Mbete struggled really bad. When we were watching, I thought it was Rico. Like Rico, Espran, they both struggled. They did. But it was really just Mbete because he moved up. JWE is like the inverted, and Luke needed to stay out wide. Like Ake does a really good job at shutting down those wide areas, and Mbete, just the center back in him, would keep going inside, and then JWE would have to catch up, and he wasn't in shape for it. So they just didn't look great, and that did kind of affect the energy. It was the energy was very lackluster in that stadium. People were very excited to do the wave, though. Sorry, Sharpie. I know. What are you about to say, homie? Get in here.
I don't understand how people go like, I don't understand how anyone went to that match knowing that basically the whole first team wasn't coming except for Holland, Jack, and the goalkeepers, and expecting quality football, like, or just top tier Man City quality football. Like, we got a bunch of kids, some young pros, right, and Jack and Earl, and so what I was excited for was goals. I wanted goals. I would have hated to pay money and drove and traveled to see a 1-0 or a 0-0. It's fun. It's preseason. Seeing Celtic get off, I hope they tell stories about that for the rest of their life. Seeing City come back, that shit was fun. It was just like, oh, we have so many goals. And for a game that means nothing, this is amazing. And obviously we had like the lightning delay and all that. So like it got delayed, took a while. But once it got going, I was like, oh, this is fun. Now I will say, Keenan didn't expect as many people to come because they ran out of concessions. And that's something that never happened at a regular college football game. They were they weren't prepared. And I don't blame them. Like, City runs America now. You can look at the stats and see it online. It's there. But yeah, Citizens showed out. And boy, when I went out in the second half to try to get food, I was sad. Either the Bojangles line was too long, or Domino's was closed. Like my heart dropped because I was texting the homies from LA and I was like, I want some Domino's, I want some pizza. Went to that shit. It was closed. I almost cried, bro. I almost walked out. I was like, I can't do this anymore. But no, it was fun. Like just to see them, and like you said, you got to see growth. And Terry got to see growth in Ohio. And then I know I caught some of the Milan game, and like that's what preseason's about. Before our big heavy hitters come back, you want to get experience. You want to get those names, and like we could talk about it. But Nico Riley, McAtee, they got the stamp from Pep. You get the stamp from Pep. That's what Rico got, right? That's how you make the squad. And Bob, and once you make the squad, now you start to work and get your place in it. And so knowing that I saw the beginning of McAtee and Nico, that's really dope for me.
Agreed. I mean, I'll go ahead and say the elephant in the room. Them boys, Celtic were cooking, boy.
Yeah, man.
Were not playing.
You can tell they were already further along in their preseason, right?
Yeah.
So they were
Yeah,
two.
they had a
I don't
game
know how many
before.
weeks in, but
3.5.
It was a different level. It was a different level.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So, we'll get to Ohio. We look completely different 4 weeks later, or 4 matches later. What is it? 2 weeks later. It was a different experience. So, I'm not taking anything away from Celtic because they played well, and that I guess it would be their right winger. He was cooking.
Yeah, I got Kyogo. I pulled him up, bro. I'm not joking. On the counter, them motherfuckers were more lethal than some of the Prem teams we faced all year last year. It was like the one in front of us, the first goal. I was like, shit. I wanted to look around and be like, yo, that motherfucker just cooked.
I also want to say this. This is where City not playing on a regulation pitch hurts us. Yeah. Because with more space, it looks different. But every pitch, I believe, in the preseason, maybe Orlando was regulation, but most of the pitches were small. Yeah. And so like we need the width of the pitch. We see it in the Premier League. When we go to a smaller side, it looks different because no, you have to guard the whole pitch when we play wide people. We sit Jack on the left, we sit Doc on the right. Like these things add up. But when you are condensed and you make that one mistake and you get caught out because you're inverting an offense and the transition happens, goals happen. And like it was watching people and like I get it, right? People are frustrated, you paid your money, it's humid, it's hot. But like this is real life. Like it's a preseason match. It takes time. We cannot expect greatness when the greatest players are not there. Like we expect fun when the young players are there, greatness when the big boys come back at Wembley. Like that's how I see it anyway.
Well, we did see partial greatness. I just want to say it now. Papa Jim called it right before Erling Haaland scored. He said, anything, if we just get a Haaland goal, it would be tremendous. And the fact that we got a chance to see him now, a little jealous what T had a chance to see, and I can't wait to hear his experience. But the fact that we right in front of us, we watched the Viking himself dunk on Lord knows whoever the fuck he's dunked on. It was beautiful to see. And the fact that my father-in-law called it, I'm not joking. We'll have that experience for the rest of my life, and he will always bring that up when him and I get drunk together. Like it's going to be incredible. So yeah, I loved it. And Charlie, you're spot on, brother. Anyone who has any sort of serious criticism towards the first preseason game, kick rocks barefoot. I don't want to hear shit from you. Like, come on.
I'm still in that for class. I'm using that one. Kick rocks barefoot. Oh my god!
I've been working on ways to insult folks without cuss words. I got a couple more for Charlie. I'll get at you.
That's literally all I do as a middle school teacher is insult students without cursing at them. It's my favorite thing.
Not any of your students, dear listener. Your students are wonderful. It's the other kids in the classroom that he insults without cussing.
Exactly. Unless your badass kids need not cuss that. Sometimes that happens. You got to regulate. A little straightening. Oh, man. Yeah. I wanted to play this sooner than later. This is just Pep on Oscar Bob. This is technically him after Orlando, but man, that was a match we didn't go.
He's a guy like he's electric. He's in the smaller spaces. He's really good. Sometimes in the last pass had to be a little bit composer. It's a little bit. He's electric on the actions. In the last pass, has to reduce his speed. For example, the chance he misses because he has to be more calm in front of the keeper. Can shoot, can pass to Erling or Jack. But it's question of time. He's young, but his work ethic is unbelievable. And as I said, can play as a striker, as a pockets, right to left, can play right side, and He's a guy like when he feels comfortable, he goes and dribbles. And when we dribble today is a bigger step for our attack.
He can play as a striker. Julian, bye bud. Oscar Bob, what's up, my guy? I'm super excited for him. Oh man. And then next is New York. Like, I got into New York. The homie Rocks of Chop Soccer, shout out to him and his wife, that I was able to stay with them. That was very nice on my pocketbook. But that was out in Yonkers. I was able to experience Yonkers. Went to Jadakiss's and the Lox's juice store. I walked through that, so I was able to like truly experience some like Yonkers shit. Like it was. I took my camera, just really kind of just took shots of just moments, not necessarily capturing people or anything like that. But yeah, that I've never been to New York either, so I now get why people love that place. I got in, took the Airbus, and then you hop in the subway. So when my first true New York was like coming up the stairs out of the subway, and then it's just boom, New York. And it's wonderful. It's chaotic, and I get how that can overwhelm people. But for me, I don't know. It's just like a sense of calm, really, because there's so many people, but they all have their own thing that they're dealing with. You got people on bikes, on scooters, on taxis, Ubers, walking, like runners, obviously homeless people just vibing, eating food. And if you just walk and you pay attention to how you're walking, you won't bump into anybody. You can stay still. People will start moving around you. I don't know. It was just like a chaotic simplicity and everything. I don't know. And also it helps for my area whenever I walk into a place, because I'm like a giant black guy in Eastern Iowa. Like, everyone like looks at me. In New York, nobody gives a fuck. So it was just really nice being able to just walk around. People are just like doing their own thing. And yeah, I just loved it. Shout out to Shirtless Plantain Show. They were hosting a live show. I went and kicked it out with them, met Coach Tosin in person, Emily Higginbottom. She was there hanging out. And shout out to all of the people there that I was able to meet. I met Antoine Hardy from on Twitter, like a very most dope person. He's also a City fan, so him and I were repping City there. That was nice for me to not be alone. That was nice. That was real nice. And yeah, all the other people that I was able to meet and connect with, a few of them will be on future lit streams. It was just amazing how I go to one event and I'm there for 3.5 hours and I made like 6-7 new connects there that I can connect with, and they're doing their own real cool things in the soccer content world. And just I ended up judging a rap showcase my last night in Yonkers at a brewery. I was grabbing some food and beers with a friend. There was a DJ inside. It was like a $20 cover. I wasn't paying that shit. I just wanted some beers. And all of a sudden, the DJ, she comes up to us and she's like, "You know anybody here?" And I go, "No, I'm from Iowa." And she's like, "Do you know anybody here?" And I was like, "You right? You right." No, I don't know anybody. So my homie Rocks, he didn't know anybody either. Came in. It was a good like 10, 12 people. It was lit as fuck. It was a rap show. And there was one in particular, the band, the group, she came out and she had her homies, like gang. They were throwing singles. She had like 2 diss tracks, which are like the hottest songs in Yonkers right now. And I was scared. They were wearing a lot of red. I'll just leave it at that. And it was a lit ass time. And yeah, it was.
You were in New York.
Yeah, no, I experienced it. I was taking all the trains, doing all the stuff. I ate sketchy halal food. I ate sketchy food trucks. I ate good, classy food. I went to random Greek restaurants. Like I said, I just tried to soak in as much as I could. Shout out to FanFest. I was supposed to have a meeting with them, but I missed my fucking train twice because that's the problem. Being all the way out in Yonkers, it only comes once every 30 minutes. So if I miss it, I fucking miss it.
Mhm.
But yeah, that was great. All the events that they had were super cool. The block party, they had like an outside thing with a basketball court. They had a couple of games where you could try to head the ball, and that was like a score that you could try to get to. Another kind of game that you could win a trip to Abu Dhabi. Just lots of people repping city gear. They paid for a barber who was giving haircuts. Like it was crazy. Multiple DJs, like had a live band, like a 6-piece band that was playing covers, like 6-piece brass band, like tubas and shit like that. It was wild. They were doing the most in the best way. Like truly, the people at Man City in both venues, all of the things that they hosted, that they threw, you could tell that it was meticulously planned. They wanted to make sure that things were great. I had a chance actually when shout out to Charlie Core, Brentford, NYCFC. I was able to kick it with him and watch women's USA Olympic match, their first game against Zambia. Yeah, and so that was really nice hanging out with him. But I was able to bump into a couple of Man City workers. They came in wearing their like, it honestly looks like PE teacher or like physio outfit. But they came in, they were on a break, but I was able to like chop it up with them, and they were saying that they had been up since midnight, like setting up everything for that block party, and we're just how much went into that. So like shout out to all of the people behind the scenes who do so much that literally went unnoticed. So yeah.
So I just want to kind of compartmentalize like everything you've experienced between at this point of the tour, right?
Yeah, for sure.
North Carolina, New York, and obviously we didn't make it to Florida. We got Tarek, who's going to report from Ohio. Just listen to these things, y'all. This is crazy. Man City sold around 15,000 tickets for preseason training sessions in Chapel Hill, Orlando, and Columbus, with the training in New York being invitation only from Sam Lee.
Mm-hmm.
Then, this is crazy. Man City have 32 million followers in the USA, whilst their live match audience in the country grew 10% across last season, according to stats provided by Nielsen. Official Supporters Club membership grew 27%, and memberships have increased 303% since the 21-22 season, which is the same season we started. That's the end of 2022, and we came on in spring. Like, that is incredible growth. Any business you're in,
we're growing the club.
We're growing the club. I mean, we are the biggest club in America. Like, Man City runs America right now. And here's the thing. It makes sense because back when United was dominant, people became Reds. Mm-hmm. When you win, you get support. You get the bread. You get the revenue. And just to see how they've so intentionally said, hey, this is a market we know we can go in. Like, we know we can dominate it from coast to coast, like from LA all the way to fucking DC. City is everywhere. And the last thing I want to say is this. Man City have more active users, those who have interacted with the club's content, liked, shared, commented, etc., than any PL club in the USA, according to Nielsen. Man City are also top 3 in the world in current followers. And I believe the only 2 ahead of us are Barca and Real Madrid. Like, it's a moment, it's a movement, it's historic times right now. This is how people look back in the late 90s of being a Man U fan. We're like, oh, we are running the world. Like, we dominate this. And now 20 years later, you see City coming up when you win 6 out of 7. Like, you have your first team to win 4 in a row. You win a trouble. You do all these historic things. People love winners. Look at the Yankees. They didn't become great because they were losing. People started supporting them because they win, from Evansville, Indiana, all the way to, LA. Like, winners beget winning. And, like, it's a beautiful thing to be a part of. And, like, I think that shapes my mindset for how to be a supporter this year. Just like it was last year. Like, we had already won the treble. Yeah. Everything else was it was cherry on top. And so, like, I just think, like, it's beautiful to think about how, and this is all from City Extra on Twitter. Thank you, Sam Lee's article. How City is so dominant, not just on the pitch, but off the pitch. And yeah, I know to Crunk, we got to move on to Ohio because that's where Tarek was.
Yeah. I want to talk about the match, like Yankee Stadium. This is actually multiple things that Pep mentioned because we talked about the field size. Pep specifically for the New York, he was like, it was really nice playing in a baseball stadium. Like he made sure to point it out. And then same thing when he was at Ohio. It was like, yes, it old me, I would very much care about these things. But now, you know, I'm playing in a football stadium. It is what it is. Like he's just like, you know, there's only so much you can like, because a lot of people were like, yeah, Club World Cup is going to be here next year. And so he was just like, please let me run it. Because they asked that, like, would you like to run it? And he's like, no, please. Like, yeah, no, I'm sure there are going to be other people who aren't tied to a team that are going to be running this. But if you want my help on it, I will gladly do it. And honestly, they probably should ask Pep his opinions on things. But shout out to Sal, all the people that I was able to say hello and hi to, but I kicked it with Sal from Curva Mundial throughout the match. We got drunk together and watched the match. Both teams played great. So we had a nice moment where we each got to talk shit to each other. And it was like, yes, it was preseason, but it felt like a football match where, you know, you're getting drunk with the homie, talking shit back and forth. Other people around you, you're cheering, you just high-fiving random people. 3 Manx we bumped into. They were drunk as fuck, singing mad crazy songs like true Manx do, like some ridiculous songs where I was just like, hey, yo, can they say that? They didn't care. Oh, man. But yeah, that was a real nice experience. Orlando was Orlando. But Ohio, I'm going to get this one gripe out of the way, though. My guy, you tagged us like once, and you tagged Noisy Pod like a million times. I felt a way about that. I just got to let you know. I felt a way about that.
My bad. See, let me just say this.
Like, what show are you on?
You know,
what are we doing?
You know, I'm old, man. I don't look.
But I'm just saying,
let me explain something. Let me explain
Noisy
something.
Pod multiple times.
Because they were like in the pictures with me. They were like taking the picture or right there physically. So that's what I was thinking about. But so like if I posted, I forget what picture it was, but one of my nephews was like, cool pic, but you need to smile. I'm like, dude, I'm old. I'm trying to figure out how to even take this stupid selfie, let alone how to make the thing work and all this. You know, I gotta flip the other
Terry, we not
camera
Terry,
around.
I seen your setup, bro. Nah, bro, you got different screens.
This is computer stuff. The computers I can get down with. I can get with the computers
nowadays. I get it.
But trying to work this thing and figure out how to take pictures, man, I don't know how to do all that, man. So I was struggling. So at the moment, I'm just like, oh, I'm here. They taking the picture, boom, boom, boom. So, but you're right. I should have tagged you. You should have tagged
I had notifications on so I could retweet it, but it's just like,
yeah.
I'm retweeting things, tagging some other pod. It's just like they obviously getting plenty of love. Like we saw Sam Lee's post. Like,
hey, but you know what? I'm gonna say this, and I think you said this to me the first time you went to Houston. And I know you already just brought them up, but Mulves is a great dude. Mulves is a great dude, man. Yes. Not to say that, you know, Joey's not McCune. I mean, not to no shade to him at all, but Mulves is just an amazing dude. So I go to Columbus, right? And so in North Carolina, it was all of us together. Here, I'm going to Columbus. Me and my brother are driving separate because he's coming from Chicago. You know, I'm coming from Indiana, so we're going a little different way. And so he's coming in closer to game time. I'm coming in to hang out and meet and greet and do all that stuff. He don't care about any of that. He's more of a neutral. He's just coming in to hang out with me and go to the game, right? So I get there. My first stop when I get to Columbus is it's a bar called Dempsey's. They had the meet and greet the night before at Dempsey's, and so they were having another event that morning. So
any relation to Clint?
You know what? I don't think so, but I don't know the answer to that. They did have a Clint Dempsey jersey hanging up in there. So I don't know. I can't say. I can't call it. But I went there first, and when I got there, I don't know if they were there, but right when I walked in, but very, very shortly thereafter, they were there. Noisy Pod and all the people from Dallas. There were people from all over. But from the moment we linked up, Moles made it a point to try to make sure that I was good. Because again, no disrespect to anybody else, but ain't but too many of people, especially at these type of events early on. There wasn't nobody else there that looked like me, right? Except for like later on, right before the game, whatever. Then you start to see other people that look like me. But when I walk in that bar at Dempsey's, I'm the only one. I don't know anybody up in here because they're all from Dallas. They're all from Minnesota. They're all from Columbus. They're from wherever they're from. I don't know any of them, and I'm by myself. But we hooked up, and from that point on, it was just like, yo, this person, whatever. So he made sure I was good. So I appreciate that. So he's, like I said, he's a really good dude. So I think that might be why I just subconsciously was tagging him and everything, because we were together a lot, and he was making sure I was good. So, but you're right. I should have been better about that. So I have to do better.
Shout out to also.
I'll take my punishment.
While you're talking about the Moles, though, Jules, his wife, she was in New York, and at the event at Amity Hall, I left to go to meet up some people, be mixy or whatever, and I came back to the bar. And I walk in, and Spencer's like, "There's someone here for you." I'm like, "Why is there someone here for me? I'm by myself." It was Jules. So she turns around, we get our hug, we say hello, we take a photo, and she goes, "All right, I can leave now." She legitimately showed up just to say hi to me. Like the Moles, that family.
Yeah, that's
like
awesome.
Truly, they're so amazing. Like I can't say enough positive words about them. Yeah. So back to Columbus though.
Yeah, no, I mean, but again, when you've never been the only person in a room, you take those things for granted, right? But like I said, he made a point to try to make me comfortable, make sure I knew, okay, hey, we're headed here, we're going there. Boom, 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 right? So again, good dude. But we leave there. We go towards the stadium on campus. There's another bar, the O on Lane. And then when I get there, there's all kinds of people from everywhere. I meet up with Scarf Boy out there. He's got a tent set up with all the scarves hanging off. And I'm standing out there talking to him. And I don't know if this was foreshadowing Mr. Holland turning into Thor, but the heavens opened up, the lightning started flashing, and the rain came down, bruh. I was so glad I was underneath the little tent, but even under the tent, the wind, it started coming kind of sideways. It had a little slant to it, so I was still getting wet. I was like, ooh, I wasn't prepared for this. In North Carolina, I had brought the ponchos. Before I left that morning, I was looking for the ponchos, but my daughter had changed the stuff out in the suitcase because she was in Chicago for her stuff. So I didn't know where the ponchos were. So I'm there with no poncho, and it's pouring down rain. But big shout out to my guy, Scarf Boy, who had the tent, and we were all up under there. Everybody's trying to stay as dry as you can. But it was great time there. Like I said, lots of people from all over. It was really cool to be able to connect with people, and people walk up to you, because I had posted, "Hey, I'm in Columbus. If you see me, feel free to come speak. Right? Please come talk." And to be able to have people, come up to you and say, "Oh yeah, you're so and so. I listen," or whatever. It was really cool. I got a chance to connect with quite a few people, whether it was at the game, whether it was pre-match. Folks, I met Colton Vincent, who's one of the followers on Twitter. Him and his wife, they're Hoosiers. They're from Indy.
Met him in New York.
So yeah, and then like I said, people from Columbus, Dallas, Birmingham. I got this scarf. I said I met. I think his name is Stanley, if I remember correctly. Met him. But then there's a whole group of them from Birmingham in at the O1 lane. So we're standing out there. They're all hanging out there with me, where we're all talking to Scarf Boy, whatever. There's a guy that comes up to me. He was like, I'm telling him, yeah, we got a podcast or whatever, right? We do the YouTube channel. I got a little thing he can scan and it'll take him to the YouTube thing. He can subscribe. And he was like, "Do y'all do call-in shows?" I was like, "Yeah, every now and then, sometimes we'll do one." He was like, "Good. I'm gonna call in. And highlights. He said, "I said you're not gonna remember my name." He said, "But just remember, I'm the ball dude from Birmingham. So when the ball guy from Birmingham calls in, and then we gonna make sure we give him a shout out." But again, there's so many dope people that I got a chance to connect with. Like I said, from kind of all over. Again, connected with Noisy Pod. I actually connected and got a chance to meet the guys from City Ramble. So yeah, it was a great time, interesting time all around. And then that's before, after, whatever the match, but the match itself,
Go on.
from moment one, me and all 71,000 other people that were in that stadium got to see City blitz Chelsea something fierce. They came out. We had 2 goals. We had scored 2 goals in the first 5 minutes, and that includes Holland having to take a penalty twice. That man scored the first penalty, and I don't know if somebody encroached. They got into the box too soon, so he had to take it again. That man stared that keeper down, put the ball exact same spot, and dared that man to save it. Like, I'm not changing nothing up. I put it right there to the right, to the keeper's left. I put it there earlier. I'm going to put it there again. Let's see if you can stop it. That man put that ball in the same spot. The keeper went that way, got his hand on it, but it was too hard. He couldn't stop it. It was too fast. It was too much power in that shot.
Wait, sorry. Just for the record, did Holland do like the little stutter, or did he just run off and kick the ball? I couldn't watch it, so I just want to know how.
So they were at the other end of the stadium, because I'm sitting behind the goal, right on one end. They're in the first half. They're on the second on the far end. So it's kind of hard to tell. I don't think he stuttered. I think he just walked up, put the ball, banged it in, and was like, "Let's go." Stop it.
A lesson for everyone. Stop playing
it
around
if you can. And so it was great. So we scored 2 goals really early. Like I said, probably within the first 5 to 10 minutes, we had 2 goals for sure. Then it kind of calmed down a little bit, went to half. I think it was 2-0. We come out pretty much right after half. I wasn't sure if Pep was going to make any subs. He kind of left everybody in, I'm pretty sure. Maybe 1 sub, but I think it was pretty much the same team. And I think so we scored 2 goals. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. We scored 2 goals in the first half, in the 4th and the 5th minute, both by Holland. The first one was the pen, then he got another one. Boom, we scored. We scored 2 goals in the second half, in the 55th and 56th minute. So it's just like these 2 spurts where we scored 2 goals in 2 minutes. It's like they don't know what hit them. So we came out of half and just like blitz them again. Now we're up 4-0. We got to see Holland score again. This time he's coming right at us. And I'm sitting, not the first section down on the ground, but this mid section. So I'm in a really good spot. And you can see him kind of shape his body, kind of side foot the ball in. This is great. And then I got to see Oscar Bob score. Yeah. There's a question that's coming up, and you already gave him some props earlier, but that dude, man, he has been the man on this tour. I'll save the rest of it for later, but that dude got off. And so to see him score was amazing. Eventually we start making our subs, and then of course it would be Sterling comes on, and then probably within the first 5 minutes of him being on the pitch, he gets a goal. Kind of a broken play, I think. Again, it's on the other end of the field at this point. But he did get one for them, and then Madueke scored again towards the end of the match to make it 4-2. But once we were up 4-0, match was pretty much over, and we just kind of playing it out at that point. Got a chance to see a lot of the young kids. So it was a great time all around. Have so only thing that I will say, that I won't say a complaint, but we get there, we're in the stadium before the match kicks off, and you're watching, and I've seen the lineups being released, so I knew Ortega was starting. They said that Ederson was going to be the bench. He was going to be like the second keeper or whatever. And so we get in there, and I'm looking around. The keepers are out there warming up, and there's no Ederson nowhere to be found. And I know we had just had the kind of, will he, won't he leave or whatever. Yeah. So I'll be honest with you. That was the talk of the conversation. Everybody around me was like,
Oh,
hey,
social media was going crazy about it too.
there's no Ederson. There's no Ederson. Hey, did you notice there's no Ederson? So we're all freaking out. I'm like, are we going to get notice that he's gone? And he did not come out with the keepers when they were warming up. I didn't see him on the bench. I did not see him on the bench during the match at all. So I'm like, I think he's at this point, I'm thinking he's about to be gone. I did see though, some video on social media after the fact that showed him at the end of the match because they were playing Wonderwall. So, he's out there, he's tapping his chest with the badge there, talking about no one feels the way I do about you now. So, I'm hoping that that's a good sign that, he's going to be around. I'm hoping to get notice that he's signed a new contract or extended or whatever. But in that moment, I'll be honest, I was concerned because as much as and again, don't get me wrong, Ortega made some big saves in that match. He made some big saves. So he made a mistake that didn't get punished. And he kind of acknowledged it to the crowd. He was like, hey, my bad. But as good as he is, I still question going into a full season with him as our main keeper. Now, again, that's probably just me being overly cautious or whatever, and he'll be fine. But we won the league by very fine margins. Any little bit of drop off anywhere across the pitch could be enough to flip that. So you don't want to see him fall off at all. But all in all, man, Columbus was a great time. Had a blast. Very, very thankful to everybody that I got a chance to meet. Oh, I didn't say this. I saw the DeMalley twins again. So I was on kind of one end of the section. They were on the other end, same section, but on the other end. So I could see them. But we tried to find each other at halftime, and I'm looking around, scrambling. I don't see them. At some point, I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna get my food and going back to my seat. I'll see them again from a distance. And as I'm headed back into the stadium, here comes one of them running around the corner. And so it's like, we finally did get a chance to connect. And them and the other folks that were with them from Hollywood MCFC. Yeah. So great all around chance to see everybody. It was a blast. And the match itself was great because, again, this was them coming out of preseason. Now we should be, sharp. And it was definitely a total difference between that match and the first match in North Carolina as far as the on-pitch play. Holland, I think he's pretty much scored almost every match as well. So he's been kind of in a good vein of form right now. But to see him get that hat trick very, very early in the second half, again, it's preseason. It doesn't really matter. But again, I've always said for a striker to see the ball go in the back of the net, that's probably the most important thing. And to see it happen 3 times in the last match before, Charity Shield, and then we kicked the season off, has to be a good thing for him. So, yeah, man, Columbus was great.
Hey. Before we get to the Academy kids and last final thoughts on the U.S. tour, Pep talked about Calvin Phillips a few times. I have a clip. This is after the Chelsea match, I think. And this is just a quick second, but overall, he was like, yeah, it is what everybody knows. Him back in the being back in the center back, he has a little more time and space where he can take his time and make the passes, where in the small spaces kind of gets a little overwhelmed. He also said, we are pretty deep in our center defensive position, so we'll see. But, it was good to see him there. But in general, people were talking about other players stepping up. Specifically, this is when he was talking about Nico O'Reilly being able to play in a position after Rodri, and then he just randomly said this about KP.
Of course, Calvin, I don't know what's going to happen to him. He knows the situation, but we have Kova.
We know the situation. He knows the situation. I don't know, and that's it. Like, and he talked so fast too. I didn't even speed that up. That was just, he was just like, and you know, we got Calvin. we got him. So it's like he showed promise in a different position, but obviously we're so deep in that position, it's not really going to happen. It's unfortunate for him. He's doing better, but he's still just not.
So I'm gonna jump to, because you already talked about it, I'm gonna go ahead and jump into the question that you asked about who impressed the most in the
I'm here for it.
doc, and he wasn't the one that was most impressive because I think that's Oscar Bob, but I did list Calvin Phillips because he struggled so badly in that first match, right? And so to be able to see him step in at center back and do well. To be fair, he did well at center back through these matches. Again, he's probably not going to play center back for us, but I was just really happy to see him have some success. You know, again, like you said, you get a little bit more time on the ball. You're playing facing the field as opposed to with your back to what's going on, you know, trying to receive off the keepers and turn with it, which is where he's kind of struggled a little bit. But to be able to play facing the play and to see and then to see him, he connected on quite a few long balls, which I used to always talk about Laporte when he was here, but he was left footed and he would just ping the ball all across. And so what the best thing about Calvin when he's facing is he can then see and then make those long passes out to strikers, out to wingers, you know, make passes up to the second line, to the attacking mids or whatever. So it was really good to see him. Do I think that he's going to be playing center back? Obviously, we just heard what Pep said. I don't think so. But for someone who comes across as such a really, really good dude, you know, I never really want to see him struggle. So seeing him improve, even if it's playing in a different position, just really felt good. And hopefully he can springboard that into playing someplace else and getting some actual time and just building that confidence. Because I think that's really the thing that's been missing the most. I kind of, talking about the Yankees, I kind of likened it to, well, what's my guy? It was at Knobloch. Used to play and he got the yips. He's a second baseman. That throw's not even that far. And he made it all these years, and then all of a sudden he just struggles to throw it over there. He makes one bad mistake, and now it's in his head. He can't get out of it. And so he gets the yips. And that's what I said about Calvin Phillips, is just like, you just got to get over that mental block, because I know he's a better player than what he's maybe shown recently. And if he ever gets back to that, then he'll do well for somebody. But he just got to get back into a position, into a place where he can play and be comfortable. And so I will hope to see that for him. But there's, without question, the player that impressed me the most throughout this tour is Oscar Bob. Dude was amazing, scored and or assisted in pretty much, I think, in every single match. There were a lot of guys missing, and so he took this opportunity with both hands. You know, you get a chance to play and to show what you can do, not necessarily have to compete with minutes or 4 minutes with, you know, so many players. He just got to go out there and he was the man on the pitch, besides, say, Holland. Holland, of course, was the captain up front, but
yeah, it was.
But Oscar Bob, to me, has positioned himself in a way where it's going to be hard for Pep to say no to that dude. It reminds me of when we had the World Cup break, I think it was, and while they were away, Rico got to play with Pep, who was, you know, training. And so then when everybody comes back, Kyle Walker's like, wait a minute, how am I not getting in there? Cancelo's like, wait, am I not getting in there? Because Rico took that opportunity and did really well with it. I see that for Oscar Bob. Yes, I know we got Savio coming in, and yes, we got Doku, and yes, we got Jack and all that, but Oscar Bob will not be denied, man. That dude is great. He's great, and I can't wait to see what happens. I pray that we don't end up in a Cole Palmer. I don't think we will, but I pray we don't end up in a Cole Palmer situation where he ends up leaving to go get minutes. We got to find a way to get that man on the pitch, on the ball, and hopefully with
I just got word. Bob's not
Alvarez
going anywhere.
Yeah, with Alvarez potentially leaving, that should give him plenty of minutes. Again, I think he can play across the front line, all 4 positions. So should be plenty of minutes for him.
Sharpie, you've been nice and listening to us talk about our experiences in whatever time that you watched the matches and the one match you were there. Was there anybody who impressed you?
Jack scoring that goal, I almost cried.
And he was going at goal.
Yeah, that was an Orlando match, right? Or was
Yes.
it?
Yeah.
When he hit the finish,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh my God, Jack can shoot. And I think like from that position, you aren't expected to hit every shot. You just expected to put it on target and just scare the defense, right? Like you can't lay it off every single time or cross it every single time. Like you got to be a threat. And we saw that from Doku, right? People got frustrated, but you never could say that he didn't go at it. He wasn't trying, right? You get the ball in the 18, Holland ain't gonna always be there. You got to hit, you got to shoot. Some games you're going to score 1, some games you're going to score 0, but like you got to go for it. And so to see that aggressive mindset and like everything I've kind of been following loosely about like him working out the summer, that he got dropped from the England squad. He like lost his spot in the 11 last year. Like this is his comeback season. And I feel like the preseason was a great step in that direction. And like he has the advantage of like him and Earl have been there the whole time. So we know they're going to be starting from day one. Like, in the community shield, he's starting. In the first week game against Chelsea, he's likely to start, right? And so by then, like things will happen because that's 2 weeks in, like the players reported today. But, like Jack is the one who I think he is so good at so many things, but that shooting aspect, just the aggressiveness to shoot is where I want to see growth. And I saw it. And so like, I'm really happy for that. He's a vet. He's 28. There are murmurs are right. He could leave in January window, yada, yada, yada. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. That's 4 months away. But from what I saw in this 2 weeks, I'm proud of the growth and like the mindset shift. And he had a lot of things off the field too last year. Like that, you can't underestimate how much that affects you, because your family and your real life is way more important than any job or any game. And these things leak in, and maybe it got murky. And now that he's hopefully in a better place, I think he had engaged recently or whatever. Like, like these things like help you. And so I think he will be back to the Jack that we saw that was so integral in the treble run. So that was a big deal for me. Side note, second piece, Erling scoring goals. Like he hit the ones he was supposed to hit. And we know last year, the whole season, he was a little bit off. Still was the Golden Boot winner. Can't take it away from him. But if he would have made the chances he made from year one, he would have had over 40 goals. So, like, just to see him dunk on people, hit the pins, hit the finishes, like, the whole repertoire is there. And that those two, because we're going to lean on them, that made me really excited.
Lando?
I have to agree with everyone in the names that you guys have brought up. I definitely think it warms my heart to hear City fans have a special place for Calvin Phillips and hoping to see something different. But ultimately, I just don't like having the convo because it hurts my heart to just know it's not going to work. So, let's just take the money and go somewhere with it. Oscar Bob has been a standout for some time. He's had Premier League moments now. I think he's just a little bit more solidified. I anticipated that we'd get a heavy dose of Oscar Bob going into the summer. And of course, I'm still here for it. Still young. I definitely, as I told everyone when T was talking, inside sources tell me Oscar Bob's not going anywhere. And I love to hear that. I love to know that. Guys, we're not talking about the player that I think is going to give us the most production early on. Out of all the guys that we have discussed this summer, I think we're going to see a heavy dose of James McAtee early on. Remember, Rodri's nursing an injury. Even before he gets back, we got to see what the situation is with him. Some of the other guys coming on, Mateo will maybe cover that. Don't know actually what will be going on with that. But with what I've seen with James McAtee, guys, he's a Premier League proven player. He's been able to show signs, flashes at another Premier League proven club. And for me, you talk about tight spaces. I'm impressed with seeing what McAtee's been able to do with some of those tight spaces. He had a beautiful 1-2 in the Barcelona game, got Haaland his goal. I love to see that. That for me, left-footed, I got a thing for the left-footed folk. And I really think we're going to see a heavy dose and some production out of him early on into the season. That's where I'm going to go with it. McAtee.
So I want to give a quick shout out to Amar Fata. He's actually a Troyes player, but the scouting team was like, hey, you should actually check out this young dude. He's kind of a baller. So he brought him over and he gave him some showtime, and he definitely showed what he could do. He's a little, one track, but you can definitely see a promise. There were a lot of people like that you can see the promise. Ndele, Sissoko, Jacob Wright, like we got some young, speedy ballers like on this team that I'm super excited about. Maximo Perrone, I am on Team Perrone. I loved when I was like looking into him over the summer. I was looking at his numbers, great numbers, but didn't really see much of him. He looked like he could be potentially a liability defensively, great at anticipating. But like in duels, he's not the best in that. He stuck out in small spaces. He is great. More size to him than I thought, and he can handle physicality. A lot of people try to kind of throw their weight around, and he just bounced right off of them. He can dribble around people. He's great at making very small passes in small spaces with like feet around. So he's kind of like perfect for the like 1-2, getting out of like space when people are kind of coming in and then being able to like make a pass out wide. I think if he can continue practicing, I would love for him to not go on loan. But obviously, if he does go on loan again, I would like to see him. I think he could do some good, getting some Carabao Cup action, getting some late Champions League group stage when shit's locked down minutes. He's someone that I think he's Oscar Bob obviously is more ahead because he's played more with City, but I think if they get about the same amount of playing time, they could be as equally impressive and key to what Manchester City could do this season. But overall, it's Oscar Bob. Perrone impressed me, but Pep himself, when he was asked, are the academy kids ready? Do you feel comfortable looking at what you have here and not wanting to go into the transfer and bringing in some people?
Of them. Does that make the club more cautious in the transfer market because you have such a strong academy?
Right now, no. Right now, no. Before we have 6-7 players, I don't have. They're so young still. They're not ready to play. But we don't need it because we have enough depth squad. I'm not a guy who likes to play with a lot of players in the squad because I don't play, and I prefer. And looking forward now.
Yeah. So enjoy the time that we had with them. It was just announced that Sissoko, not just now, a few hours ago, Sissoko's he's going on loan with Peterborough. I think over the next week we're gonna see a lot of those names. Some of them
Hamilton
I think
linked with Middlesbrough.
Middlesbrough, yeah.
Yeah. See, I like
They
all
going
of those.
out. I love it. Go to championship. Go ball.
Yes.
Go ball against the pros.
And it's on ESPN, so I can tap into all those matches.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get the fuck out of here. We'll be back at it in a couple of days to talk some Community Shield. I am super excited. Season 4 with the show, bros. Let listeners know where they can find you and all those things.
Man, I'll go first real quick. Follow me at Sharpie Charlie. We got all sports being covered. Olympics, NFL is about to kick off, college football, but of course, anything and everything Man City, we here.
Yo.
I'll go ahead and drop the handle at Shades of Blue NW. Get at us, like, subscribe, follow, comment, all platforms at Shades of Blue NW.
At Tarek Peterson, TarikPeterson, at Tarek Peterson on Twitter.
And like Lando said, Shades of Blue NW, Instagram, Threads, TikTok, Twitter, we all over. I personally, I might be able to I'm working on trying to get my Crunk Chocolate Twitter account back. I gotta wait a few days to see how things are working, but hopefully by the next recording, I can tell you guys you can add my actual name instead of Crunk Phoenix. Oh man, I'm super excited if that happens. Woo! I'll get myself back because I can still check that account on an old phone, and I'm still getting like added by people and stuff like that. So it's just like, oh, damn it. Okay. Yeah, check us out. We will see you all soon. You know the vibes. Shady gang, shady gang, shady gang.